Coming up on the Gen GameCast, massive layoffs face two major game studios. The end of the 32-bit era is near, thanks to Frostbite. And I yell, it's Cliffy B! All that and more coming up on the Gen GameCast. Hey, and welcome to the Gen GameCast for Tuesday, May 22nd, 2012. I'm Trevor Mignani, and today joining me for the best gaming commentary this side of the webinets is...
Albert Warner.
Benny got caught off there, so we'll give Benny his intro again.
Can we try that again?
Yeah.
I said, made you laugh.
To be honest, you didn't make me laugh. I didn't want to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
And joining us for his first podcast ever, Sean Carlson.
From the land of Minecraft.
From the land of Minecraft and Diablo 3. And League of Legends, apparently. What's going on, Sean?
What's going on? What do you mean, apparently? Kind of like the best around, don't you know?
Oh.
Don't you know?
Oh.
So how psyched are you to be on your first podcast?
Very. And confused.
Confused is a good feeling to have. Because you know what? This is the show that anything can go here. You never know what's going to happen here.
I have an idea.
Trevor might spontaneously combust.
You never know. This could totally happen.
Wait for it.
It didn't happen this time around. All right, let's go ahead and jump into what are you playing. We'll start with the newcomer, Sean. What have you been doing this past week?
Oh, like I said, I've been playing League and Diablo.
Yeah, Mister. I have the generic Diablo 3 poster that everybody else has except for Trevor Mignani.
Except I have two of them.
You should just airmail one to me. I kind of feel left out.
Okay, maybe.
I'll send you the $5 for it.
No, okay.
Hey, while you're passing out money, just saying, $10-20 over here might not be that bad.
Nah, he already sent me $20, so you're gonna have to wait in line.
What is this? I don't get money.
All right, Gil, what have you been doing this past week?
Well, a little bit of Pokemon and a little bit of reading the
Books?
Halo Primordium Book 2 of the Forerunner saga.
Ooh.
Yes.
Interesting.
Ooh, indeed.
I heard the Halo novels are actually pretty good reads. Some of them.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm kind of ashamed to admit that I read the Halo novels because I read other things, not just the Halo novels. Like I feel like, I'm into video games and then and then I say like, "Oh, I'm also into reading." And someone says, "Oh, what else do you read?" And I'm like, "The Halo novels." It's like no. I don't just read the Halo novels. I've read Rainbow Six. Okay, bad example.
The Ghost Recon novels.
I actually have not read the Ghost Recon novels. I did read Tom Clancy's Net Force series. I enjoyed that. I read some Godzilla books a while back. But I recently read 1Q84. I read the Hunger Games trilogy of books.
You could read the Hunger Games literally in like 2 nights if you focus on it.
Not
very
quite.
quick.
The first book I spread out over about a week. So it was like 3 to 5 days, something like that. The second book was spread out over about 3 days, and the last book was closer to 2 days.
Somebody got addicted.
Well, they were all pretty short.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Were.
But yeah.
All right, let's move on.
So I do. Yeah.
Benny, what have you been doing this past week?
Do I have to answer that question?
Yes, you have to answer it every week because the people need to know.
I've been grinding my nights away playing more and more Minecraft. Now, I'm not even playing Minecraft at this point. I don't even consider it playing Minecraft.
You're building.
My non-paying part-time job at this point.
You're not paying full-time job, actually.
Oh, just about. And in my free time, I have to teach some noob how to play League.
Oh, you mean Red?
What?
Mean Red?
Oh.
You mean Red is teaching me how to play League?
No, I said I had to teach some noob how to play League.
Because I know Red's teaching me. I don't know what you're doing.
Say,
Just
Benny,
saying.
I got to ask. Now, when you're loading up your PC to play Minecraft,
yes,
do you start singing the song from the dwarves from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? You know, hi ho, it's off to work I go.
I should totally do that next time. Next episode, Hyrocraft. Let's see if I can get that playing. Is that copywritten?
Yes.
That
Yes.
movie's a
Very
ways off. Is it
very
still covered?
copywritten because it's Disney.
I probably just got us kicked off Twitch, and I apologize for that.
Good job,
But,
Gil.
Gosh dang it, Gil.
Well, there goes the
But,
show.
hey,
My
it
first
gives me a
one
performance
ever.
test, so I think it's allowed. It's all good.
No, it's not.
you know, something's got to be done about Disney, but this is not
All right.
the
Well,
podcast.
this is not the anti-Disney podcast. Maybe
But it
next
should
semester
be.
will be. Maybe next
If you must
semester.
know, if there is one game I've actually been wanting to sit down and play, not actually playing, it's I'm working my way through Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo. I'm playing.
See,
That's
love
something
that one.
that's not Minecraft and it's not League of Legends and it actually has some redeeming value to it.
Yeah. I don't know when I'll be playing. Hopefully sometime soon. Maybe on my next actual real live streams.
Your real live streams as opposed to your pre-recorded streams.
Exactly.
Benny, you let me know. I will join you on those live streams. I love that game.
Will do.
Well, Gil, I have one thing that I suggest for you to do. See the little follow
What's that?
button that's actually it's actually right over here if you're watching live. Click the little follow button. It lets you know when we're live. It sends you an email telling you what we're doing.
Oh, I see
Got
that. Okay,
mail.
I'm gonna click that link right now. Follow. Yeah, right.
All right, let's go ahead and jump to this week in news. Betty, I only thought it would be fitting for you to intro this first story.
I'm sorry, Trevor. What have you been playing this week?
Oh dear me, I forgot again.
Escape that.
I'm not going to escape the fact that I played
admit it
League of
right now
Legends.
What you've been doing?
I have to make an admission here. I did play League of Legends this past week, and I somewhat enjoyed myself.
Woohoo!
Somewhat.
I wish I could get rigged.
And you can actually use this as a confessional here because it actually happened. I live streamed it too, and I am sad to announce that it was my first 1080p stream too.
1080p.
Pretty well.
But besides that, I did play some Diablo 3. Had some more fun there, starting the nightmare difficulty and gonna grind my way through that. But other than that, it's been building this wall, which has been nothing but fun rewiring. But let's go ahead and move into the news this week. Benny,
Lovely.
lay the hurt
Oh,
on
dude,
us.
I love rewiring.
Welcome back to the
I'm
show.
kidding.
I would
Drop
hate
a
to see
train on the
basement,
news this
you know?
week.
Weekend news starts off now with some sad news from BioWare, the first of many sad news on this program.
Yeah,
today.
this podcast is a complete downer. Just giving you a heads up. Actually, wait. If you fast forward 20 minutes, it'll be all positive.
We promise. This is kind of expected because recently BioWare had lost 400,000 subscribers to Star Wars: The Old Republic, and now they've announced they have laid off. What was the number? I didn't even say the exact number of.
There's no exact number.
An exorbitant amount.
They said a large amount of people from their Old Republic staff, which is expected, but
Well, yeah. When you do a game towards the end, there's this big push. You got to bring in a lot of people to just get everything finalized and pushed out the door. But there is a silver lining to this, though, Benny. Right?
yeah, it's something I brought up kind of in our pre-show. It's I want to say it's a problem, but I think there's a bit of an oversaturation of the MMO market, and I think there's probably gonna be a lot more, a little bit of you would call it decline in your Republic or even other MMOs, and I don't think this is gonna be the last bit of news coming out of BioWare about this, but I think there will be reach a point when they just kind of level off, and you'll have the same amount of people playing. And I know this because there's still a large amount of people playing Star Wars Galaxies before they had to shut that down.
That was sad when they shut that down.
It was. A
You
lot
know,
of people are kind of upset about it, but
to be fair, those employees had failed BioWare for the last time.
Well, actually,
I'm
there
just saying.
is a silver lining to this, guys. EA has come out with a statement. When the news of this first hit, everyone was like, oh my god, this is horrible. But EA has come out and said that a number of employees will be shifted into other Electronic Arts and BioWare projects. So they're not exactly kicked out the door. They're just being told, okay, well, this project's done. We really need to focus here now. So you're going to pack your bags and go to this studio and work.
because BioWare's
Yes.
got many other things to have to rush out the door. No, not really. They got Mass Effect. They've done with that.
Well, there's the new IP.
The new
It's
IP
also
we've yet
going
to
around
see.
to other EA projects, and EA's got a lot of things lined up. And if they don't, well, you'd be stupid to say that because they're Electronic Arts and they're freaking massive.
I don't know, Trevor. I mean, no offense, but the way you say it, you sound like you're telling a kid that their dog has just gone off to play in a happy meadow, to go live on a farm forever. It's kind of the sense I'm getting. You're saying, well, little Timmy, Lassie will be fine. She's just going to a farm to play.
Well,
Unless you
no,
said-
it's not because EA's statement said BioWare has restructured its studio in Austin today. Of the employees impacted, some will be able to join other projects within EA. Others will leave the company.
But yeah, so so some people are getting fired.
Some people are getting canned. There's no two ways
Yeah.
saying that, but not everybody. So
The curious part, though, I have about this is saying it helps us to focus their staff and maintain and grow Star Wars: The Old Republic. So you want to cut staff to grow the Old Republic.
yes, because obviously there's a lot of bloat there that they didn't need.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So they had to cut people because they were losing money, or they had to cut people because they want to help grow. It's a kind
They're
of
cutting
contradictory statement.
employees in order to keep the studio or the project rather above margin. And they want to make sure that they're making a profit. Otherwise, why would EA be putting money into a project they're losing money on?
Good question. But I was under the assumption that they do this all the time. That's why I made the little shoveling animation earlier. But yeah, no, this is expected, I guess. I mean, companies fire people all the time. They hire a bunch of people. You'll hear news probably months from now. It's like this company hired 100,000 people to work on this big new project, and then people will be surprised when they fire 50,000 people because of some BS reason. It's not saying anything bad about Star Wars right now. It's more about EA, I guess.
Well, it's
and
all
how they're
about
running
meeting
business.
expectations, and
Exactly.
it's obvious that the expectations were set on the level of the Facebook IPO, and we all know what happened there. All right, let's move on to some more bad news. Kingdoms of Amalur developer lays off employees. 38 Studios, which is up in Rhode Island, they're actually indebted to Rhode Island. So in case that studio does go down, all of the IP goes to the state of Rhode Island, which I find hilarious. Anyone else find that really funny?
Great. Our government will now be making video games. All right.
Yes, for government issued video games.
And I think
The
I don't want to
state
get
of
too
Rhode
political.
Island
I don't want to get too
presents.
political with this topic, but if the government manages their video game development like they do other parts of government, this is going to go over swell.
All right. Well,
Incoming
let's hit the real story here. The future is not really looking too good for them. The reason why they had to let employees go is they're not able to meet payroll. That's kind of one of those essential functions of a business. Hire people, get people to work for you, pay them. If you cannot pay them, you have a problem. And Kingdoms of Amalur, I'll be honest, I picked it up, played it for a bit. It's a decently fun game. It's like baby's first Skyrim, to quote somebody else, but it doesn't have quite enough going for it to really set itself apart from the other RPGs on the market. Especially when you're bigger games like Skyrim and you have Diablo 3 out now, and you're really saying, well, is there really a place for this game?
I like the related story I posted underneath it saying first look at Kingdoms of Amalur's new MMO. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, they got to get themselves
Um,
financially sound before that
After we
happens.
just got done talking about layoffs from BioWare, we're talking about Kings of Amalur, or talking about 38 Studios and their new MMO, and in a market that's already saturated with MMOs. We've got a fun little story about that later. Um, it's just another business. You're just having to, I guess, kind of save the business rather than just go bankrupt and shut everything down. They want to kind of keep things afloat, which you see in any kind of business all the time. So
Right.
it is sad news, but it happens.
At least the good news about the MMO, apparently it's going to be released in 2013, and that was a statement from the governor of Rhode Island. So at least they're standing behind the studio saying, you know what, even if the studio's doing bad, we're going to just keep pushing this. Keep kicking that can down the street until it becomes a real problem.
The state of Rhode Island presents Kingdoms of Rhode Island.
I can imagine like
Online.
just like the state of Rhode Island, kind of like a map outline with this glowing text saying Rhode Island, state of Rhode Island production on there, which would actually be kind of cool. Now
That would be pretty
somebody should get on that.
That'd be a little weird, but I don't know. In a way, I'm gonna go ahead and admit I know nothing about Kingdoms of Amalur, so I'm going off entirely about what Trevor said about it being Skyrim Light, or Skyrim or Baby's First Skyrim, whatever he said. I feel like this is kind of a problem with games these days, in general. You know, a developer sees a successful game and thinks to themselves, we could do that, and we can put our own spin on it, and it'll be great. You know, it'll still, it'll be similar. It'll still be our own thing. And I'm not saying they're directly copying them, but they're still creating a similar idea. And so they develop the game, and they go, oh, that's going to be great. We're going to make tons of money. People are loving this stuff. And they put it out there, and then it doesn't sell. And then they're surprised it doesn't sell. But there's a reason it doesn't sell. You made it like the other game that was really popular, and people saw that, and they're like, well, why don't I just get the other game that's really popular? They aren't recognizing this small game that that might be really good. It could be an amazing game, but people are associating it with the other larger game, and just getting that instead.
Right.
I'm thinking along the lines of all the first-person shooters that have been coming out because of Call of Duty and Halo and to a lesser extent Battlefield, mostly Call of Duty and Halo, selling such big numbers. People coming out with all these first-person shooters thinking, oh, this is going to be great. And then it doesn't pan out. And it's because it's not Call of Duty. It's not Halo.
Yeah. Speaking of games that really didn't sell too well, MLB 2K is actually not going to see another season. Following its contract dissolution with the Major League Baseball, 2K will not be producing a game next year. And that means the Xbox 360, for the first time since its launch, will not have a baseball game. So far, that was announced.
We have too many already. We have football also. Soccer, football.
Well, no
Sports.
baseball game.
Oh no, what do we do without baseball?
Well, outside.
No, I mean, like, this is really showing the sign of the times here, where almost a decade ago, like 2002, EA Sports and 2K Sports were competing nose to nose, trying to put together the best sports games possible. And now when you look at the landscape, EA is not producing a basketball game. They're not producing a baseball game. Why? Because 2K had a superior product, and they won out in the market. And EA said, you know what, it's not even worth it for us to compete here because the margins are so low. Likewise, 2K Sports used to produce a hockey game and a football game, and then they lost the NFL license, and I believe they lost the NHL license, and EA managed to get some exclusive deal with them.
That, or people have realized they can just go outside and do it for free instead of paying $60 for a game, playing it 3 times and just be like, oh, this is exciting.
That was like it's similar to the week that George streamed MLB the show. Like he did it for like 3 days, and I haven't seen it since. Just
That's what I was saying. It just
isn't-
dies off too quickly.
It's just I don't think they're as popular as they used to be. I remember a few years ago, just the latest whatever Madden game that came out, or I don't even know my sports games at all. That's how irrelevant I think it is.
Well,
now.
I mean, you still have a yearly. I mean, Madden's still pretty freaking big.
Madden's still always going to be big. It's just the other, I guess, sports franchises just aren't as great anymore. I mean, you look at the most recent Tiger Woods game. They had someone else. They had Tiger Woods and someone else on the cover.
Well, that's been EA's trend. That's EA's trend. If you look at the FIFA titles still do very well, but they put 3 people on the cover. Oh my God! Look at 2K Sports NBA 2K12. They had, I think it was 3 or 4 different legendary NBA players on different covers, so you can get a different edition with a different player on it.
You could buy the same game 4 times.
Well, yeah, it's just different sleeves.
There's someone out there who probably did that. I really have nothing to say to this. I'm not a sports game person. This is really a George article right now, but I just think they're just not as popular as they used to be. Any kind of sports games aren't as popular as they used to be.
I'll agree with you.
They're still very popular.
I think people are starting to realize the inherent disvalue of buying a yearly release game like Madden, where you're saying, well, are they really making the game
4 months out of
differently?
the year, and that's it?
Well, some people play it more than that. Like some people, I know some people that all they play is Madden and NCAA football. That is like their 2 games they buy a year, and they're just big into those games.
I can almost see. I mean, I wouldn't be supposed to somebody just creating a new form of virtual sports platform. I could see a different developer do it. If I saw somebody actually come up and try to do it, I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think anyone's going to do it anytime soon. I think it's just eventually these developers are going to wean out their sports division, and some people are going to keep it around just to keep it around because there's still a market there that will buy these games.
Oh yeah, there's absolutely a market.
There's
That's why whenever I
competing
go to my local game store, NHL 2K12, NHL 12 is always sold out. True story.
True story.
Well, you are from a place that's heavy on hockey.
Well, yeah, we have 2 teams in the area that are in the East Conference Finals, so we're a little big on the NHL.
But that's I guess the point I was trying to make. There's a market for it. It's just not a competing market. It's just nothing. It's not enough to invest all your money into.
Oh yeah, EA has multiple divisions. They have EA Sports, which is its own set apart division that operates on its own, and then you have EA Games, which is responsible for your Battlefield and Medal of Honor and The Sims and everything else that they do that's profitable for them.
Enough said.
All right, let's move on to some interesting news coming out of the legal system. This is such a Kevin story. He'd be so excited to hear about this. But I don't know if he'd be so interested in knowing that it's not a Halo project, but rather a new IP announcement from Bungie. And what was that?
I said, "Yay!"
Wow, are they gonna
finally something other than Halo from Bungie?
That's possible.
It is possible.
I guess it is possible. Well, they no longer control the Halo franchise anymore.
Anyways.
So, in a report that we saw online today from The Verge, Bungie's contract with Activision had to be unsealed due to the ongoing litigation between Jason West, Vince Zampella, and Activision. And it says that the next project that Bungie will be working on is a sci-fantasy action shooter series that does not star Master Chief. Okay, it didn't say that, but it's planned for release on Xbox 360. And interesting, they mentioned in a quote for Xbox 360, Xbox 720, and PlayStation 4, which I think is hilarious. With release dates fall 2013, 2015, 2017, and 2019. Go ahead, Gil.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the article I read about this says the project is called Destiny. That's not the name, of course.
It's
just
it's the project
title of the project.
code name.
And
Wait, what?
it's a sci-fi shooter, just like Marathon, just like Halo. So in a way, I mean, obviously it's way too early to say anything about the game, but at least right now it sounds like it'll be the spiritual successor to Halo, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
I think
Excuse me.
probably the more interesting thing out of this whole thing is that they are going to be allowed to work to dedicate 5% of their staff, at maximum 5% of its staff, to work on a new Marathon game.
Yeah, yeah, and I believe it said that staff will be allowed to grow based on certain things that
Based on different financial merits.
yeah, I don't I'm not an accountant, so I don't understand I'm not an accountant and I'm not a lawyer, so a lot of so it's all very confusing. But what we can say is that
Are certain employees
we
worth
know
more percentage
exactly
than
what
others?
years we're getting new games from Bungie.
Well, there goes the next 8 years. Well, I could take the next 8 years off now. How about that? I'm going to go get my master's degree. See you later, guys.
All right, peace.
We'll just finish the show without you. Just leave your camera on. It's all good. Um,
Sean, do you have any opinions on Halo?
I played Halo in a tournament once, and that was bad. That's the last I played it.
I
That's all I know.
Again,
What
this is a Kevin story. I think he would have like all the details on this, and we kind of don't know what we're talking about here.
well, I know what I'm talking about. There's just
Yeah.
nothing to say.
There's nothing. There's
I don't
nothing.
think
There
Kevin
isn't.
would
I mean,
know
it's
any
just-
better.
It's the
We
shell of
now
a
know.
story.
We now know they have a game, and it's coming out.
That's just it. We knew that's nothing new. We knew they had a game. We knew it was going to come out eventually, and we knew it was
Now
gonna
we
be,
know when it's coming out. And
We
kinda
also
have an
now know
idea.
the genre.
okay. Now we have a rough idea. Now we know it's a shooter, and we know it's a sci-fi shooter. But we've seen that from them before. This will be the third time. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Absolutely.
I think it's more about Bungie's kind of taken a while to get going. I mean, Halo Reach came out, what is it, a year and a half ago? No, less than that, isn't it? Probably a year ago. I don't remember the exact date.
I think it's a year
Sure.
and a half.
But,
2 years.
but they've probably been done developing Halo Reach for, that's probably, I'm going to say about a year. So they needed some time to get off of Halo Reach and officially get moving into this new project. And it's going to take a while for Bungie to finally get the momentum going. Say, hey, we've got this new game coming out, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well,
and-
you're looking at less than 365 days from a formal announcement. Well, actually, a little bit more than 365 days from like almost a full reveal of what this game's going to be.
Unless
this
they kind of like drop the nuke at E3, which I don't think is going to happen.
You know what? I would not be surprised if we see something at E3 regarding this. Now that the cat's out of the bag, so to speak, and it's going to be a
Actually-
Microsoft exclusive, I would not be surprised if you see Bungie return to the stage at E3.
Well, it'll be an exclusive. I mean, from what I read, it'll be an exclusive for a year. It'll come out. It'll come out on the 360. The first game, at least, will come out on the 360. A year later, it'll come out. They said it'll come out on other consoles, meaning the PlayStation 4 and possibly even the Wii U. I would like.
There
to
was
think
no
it
mention of the. Was there any mention of the Wii U? at
There
all?
wasn't.
No, but if they were gonna say yeah, the PlayStation 4, we have no plans to release it on the Wii U, they would have just said PlayStation 4 and not other systems. You know?
I mean,
Yeah.
they're
kind of-
releasing on Windows PC, so they do plan on multi-systems. I think a lot of people aren't really planning Wii U because a lot of people don't have faith in the Wii U. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, that's
Well,
going to be like the next
told
week.
you. We talk about Nintendo eventually.
Well, we have some stories for Nintendo coming up.
We do.
Well, I'd also like to mention that technically Bungie has already released a game called Crimson Steam Pirates on iOS, and they released it months ago, actually. Not quite a year ago, but it was a while ago. I actually have the game. Crimson Steam Pirates. It is from Bungie. So
Yeah, well, we know
Hey.
that they're not just a one-trick pony. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on and talk about some.
at least we hope they are.
Let's talk about some technology being pushed to the side. And by technology being pushed to the side, that Windows 2000 box you're watching the stream on right now, it's time to throw it away because you got to step up to something with the 64-bit processor. At least if you want to play some of the new DICE games coming out next year.
Woohoo!
What's with the random woohoos?
I like. It's Dice Battlefield.
It's DICE.
Just saying. Woohoo!
Yeah, I guess you could do that. But so while we all know that some of the Frostbite 2 games are like Need for Speed, The Run, or The Runs. Oops.
Yikes!
Oh god, it's the best typo ever.
Need for Speed. Private bathroom moment.
All right.
I got a need for speed in the bathroom. I got class in 5 minutes. Got to get this done.
But so Need for Speed: The Run, Battlefield 3, and the new Medal of Honor game are already on Frostbite 2. But if you're going to if for their future games, so obviously some of them haven't been announced yet, Warfighter will be a 2012 game. But some of the newer games are going to require a 64-bit processor, finally kicking to the curb the last of the 32-bit generation. Any serious PC gamer is probably already on a 64-bit processor, but I think this is finally an evolutionary moment to finally kiss 32-bit goodbye. We will pour out some
Thank
drinks
you.
for 32-bit for all the work it's done.
I won't miss you. I've been at 64-bit my whole life, so
No, you haven't. How old are you, Sean?
20 years old. Well,
Yeah.
not my whole life, but
Yeah.
Yeah, whole life.
32-bit reigned supreme up until about a decade ago.
32-bit reigned supreme up until about 5 years.
Yeah.
No, not even less than 5 years ago. 32-bit has been going strong for a long time. 64, at least from what I've seen, 64-bit has only really just been getting going, and there are still billions of people on 32-bit because people do not upgrade their computers that often.
Yeah, and it's really more or less the 64-bit processors have been mainstream for a while. I mean, even your freaking netbooks now are 64-bit.
Yeah. But if you bought a computer, 5 years ago, you probably have a 32-bit processor.
Yeah. Well, if you're running Windows XP still, well, it's time to move on.
I feel sorry for you if you're running XP.
So, I know people that refuse to move on from XP. To them, I say, you're missing out, man. AeroSnap, that is the killer feature of Windows 7 right now.
I didn't like Windows XP, to be completely honest with you.
A lot of people didn't like the way the interface looked. I think they called it the Fisher-Price interface. But I was fine with it when it came out. As time went on, I mean, when Vista came out, and Vista was horrible. I mean, granted, it got better later, but it was horrible at first, and that kind of first impressions are important, so that horribleness stuck with it even when it was better. So people didn't upgrade to Vista because everyone thought Vista was bad, and then 7 came out, and the geeks, me, Trevor, Benny, we were all 7 came out, and people were like, hey, this is good. This is not another Vista.
And then
so
I had to spend the next 3 months telling people, no, 7 is good. If you have Vista, you need to upgrade now. Go to your local store, buy a copy of Windows 7, load it up, and see what your computer can actually do now.
Yeah.
let's go ahead and move on because I think we've gotten like off topic from talking about DICE's Frostbite engine
Little
requiring
bit.
64-bit to saying why you should upgrade to Windows 7. And I think this
Yeah.
conversation would just go to Windows 8, and that's the place where we don't want to go right now. Let's talk about probably the biggest Super Monday Night Combat ripoff since Super Monday Night Combat ripped off its own original game, which is a joke. And that is Bullet Run, which looks like if you took Bulletstorm and Super Monday Night Combat and kind of like mashed them together. Let's just watch the trailer. Product not yet rated. And this is a Sony Online Entertainment product. I should mention that.
Uh-oh.
Yikes.
Yikes, indeed.
Epic new series, fearless contestants will battle with each other as the world watches live.
Totally not a
Watch
ripoff
them
of Super
fight,
Monday Night
Watch
Combat.
them kill. Watch them die. And
Definitely a lot
come
more
back to
gorier.
do it all again.
Looks pretty good.
Our patented synth technology allows fallen players to be reborn and continue their quest for dominance, money, and fame. Contestants will fight together in Team Deathmatch. But
Totally,
allies
not
can become
unoriginal.
enemies at any moment, and it all happens live in front of our cameras, so you won't miss a second of the action. Are you strong enough, brave enough, crazy enough to prove your dominance in Dominion and put your life on the line in front of the entire world? Live combat, real people. Bullet Run, fame at any cost.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I can give you an
Now
answer.
this might seem like a silly question,
Remember,
but
Gil, no questions are silly.
was Bulletstorm any good?
It was the type of game where if it released at $30, I would have bought it.
Mm-hmm.
But it got very repetitive very fast. This looks like literally Sony saying, you know what? Uber's got a great idea with Monday Night Combat, but we want to take it and kind of apply the Sony finish on it, which is to essentially just take a bucket of brown paint and just slap it on.
Right. Hey.
No. They did change. There's two things they changed about this. The graphics are different, and it's not a MOBA style game because you're not
Yeah.
playing Dota as a first-person shooter. You're actually playing a first-person shooter. But everything else, yes, completely ripped. Like the whole style of the game,
Yeah,
the way
I
it's
mean,
presented, is complete rip off of Monday Night
the
Combat.
presentation just looks stupid. Like, I mean, with Monday Night Combat, the game, it works because the game is so unrooted in reality that you could believe it. This looks like you can like draw some reality into the game, and then you're like, wait a minute, how does this work? This does no. This looks stupid.
You know what I was thinking? You know what I'm thinking? Listening to the trailer.
What?
It's ripping off Hunger Games. Ah.
I absolutely agree with you there. It sounds exactly like a ripoff of Hunger Games. We're gonna stick a bunch of people in a pit and kill each other for fame and glory.
Actually, there's a whole. You know, I've seen this a lot of places where it's like, oh, Hunger Games is ripping off Battle Royale. Battle Royale is a Japanese movie where a bunch of kids kill each other.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, it's ripping off this, it's ripping off that. It's like you know, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
It's a ripoff of Pong, okay? And I don't know why people don't go back to the classics. Pong was a great game.
Call of Duty is ripping off Pong. You got a
That was
little
a
ball,
rip-off.
you send the ball into the other guy's paddle, and the paddle dies. That's Pong. You kids these days.
Actually, if you think about it, Pong is kind of a ripoff of the ball, the rubber paddle, or the paddle and the rubber ball bouncing back and forth.
It's two-player.
All right.
Classic.
That was what Grandpa said, and he was crazy. And you kids these days that are ripping off Pong.
All right, let's
They
talk
rip
about
off
some
now
numbers,
that
Gil.
your original- Can I tell you what is cool though? 6 million sold.
How many?
6 million.
One more time.
6 million.
6 million.
6 million.
6 million of
these
things.
babies. 6 million 3DSs.
I don't have one.
Nintendo has hit the 6 million mark of 3DSs sold. I assume that's worldwide. It wasn't really clear, but you know that's a big number. It's more money than I'll ever have if we were to equate that 6 million into dollars. So I think Nintendo is selling these things at a loss, but it is
Who
selling
doesn't
faster
sell a
than the
console
DS
at a
did.
launch?
And I think they'll be fine. That Nintendo, I think they might be going places.
If anybody has an answer for me, this is kind of a really, really tough question. How's the Vita doing lately?
Not good.
At least in Japan, it's not doing good. I don't know if it's. I don't know how it's doing in the States. I actually haven't seen anything on it in the.
I'd hate to start a flame war just by saying, "Oh, Nintendo's or the 3DS is better than the Vita," which is debatable. Which one's actually the better handheld? But one can't argue that Nintendo knows how to market their. Nintendo knows how to sell consoles or handhelds. I mean, they had a rough start, but I think they picked it up very well, despite still having actually a few blockbuster titles. They're selling very well, which surprises me.
Yeah.
But when you have games on it like Mario Kart,
Mario Kart is like
Mario
the
Kart by
definitive.
itself can sell 3DSs,
Yeah.
and that's not the only game they have.
Yeah. I mean, really, if they just started with Mario Kart, they probably would have been fine.
The thing
Or
is,
Mario 3D Land for that matter.
they have Mario 3D Land, and then they have Zelda. They have a complete they ported Zelda to the 3DS. Which,
I know. They've got their best Nintendo 64 games on the 3DS. I mean, not all of them, obviously, but they've got
Star Fox.
They've got Star Fox. They've got Zelda. The two of their best N64 games on the 3DS.
Well, technically
Now
three of them because
now
they
with
had
Mario.
because you had Mario 64 that came out on the DS at launch, and the
Which
reason
I
why.
wasn't gonna. I know I wasn't gonna count that because
Yeah.
that was a DS game.
Well, I mean,
But,
like if you
and
look
it
at the
wasn't-
launches,
yeah.
you look at the launches between the DS and the 3DS. The DS had such a great launch because everybody wanted a DS because they saw Super Mario 64 DS and they're like, I gotta have that game.
yeah,
And
except
that
the DS only
game-
sold 1 million units in its first year, and then second year rolls around, DS Lite comes out, Mario Kart comes out, and then boom, it's off like a rocket.
Well,
brings my
also
previous
do you gotta
point. Mario Kart sells consoles. Sells
look at the
handhelds.
look at the time. You should totally look at when Pokemon games come out for it.
That too.
Oh yeah, when
Because
when
that
Pokemon
game is crack.
when Pokemon I don't know, when Pokemon Circuit Board and Pokemon Old Wooden Cart come out on the 3DS, it'll be crazy. I'm really bad at making up Pokemon titles off the top of my head. Really, any titles off the top of my head.
Well,
Not gonna be
Pokemon
good.
Rebel Blast doesn't count, MV Par in chat, because that's not a traditional Pokemon game. We're talking traditional RPG style Pokemon games, not the spin-offs.
What is he? He's saying the 3D
Rumble
Blast.
Blast.
3D Blast.
That
yeah.
game doesn't count.
Yeah, though they are coming out with the. I mean, you probably already talked about them, but because I wasn't on past couple weeks, but the eShop games coming out, the little apps. There's going to be a Pokédex, the Pokédex Pro app,
Yeah.
and the AR Searcher app, which that'll actually the AR Searcher I'm reading will tie in to Black 2 and White 2, and that application will be the only way to get the alternate forms of the three cloud guys, Landorus, Thundurus, and Tornadus. Have to use AR Searcher to get them into Black and White 2. So,
Interesting. But they're just DS games, which is the most interesting point.
Yeah. So I mean, clearly that means they have some exclusive 3DS functionality. I'm hoping some of that exclusive functionality will be full screen on the 3DS. Maybe
I
just a
think
wider
you're
aspect ratio.
holding your breath on that one.
I know, but I really would. I don't care if it's just a DS game. I'd still want the full screen to be taken up. I would appreciate that greatly.
They're developing it with the 3DS in mind. I mean, it's a DS game. They're developing it with the 3DS in mind. So you would think that would actually happen.
Well, it's still built off the Black and White engine, which was designed without the 3DS in mind. It was designed for the DS. And so with Black 2 and White 2, it's more like they're kind of tacking stuff on as an afterthought, like,
Well, they're
dang,
adding
we didn't know the 3DS was coming out. Quick, throw some stuff on there.
well,
AR search,
they're
good,
adding
good,
they're
go.
adding things in that they had to cut from the first game. I mean, to say that Game Freak had no clue the 3DS was coming out is complete and utter bullcrap.
Well, not they had no clue, but I feel like they probably weren't planning.
Well, yeah,
on any
obviously because they're
feature.
trying to sell as many games as possible. You're not going to take a high franchise like Pokemon and take a huge risk by putting it on a new system and making it exclusive. They dipped their toes in the water with Rumble Blast. I don't even know if that was Game Freak that did that, or if it was somebody else that just licensed it. But
I don't know. I do kind of feel like maybe they should have delayed Black 2 and White 2, like not announced them and just waited and put them out on the 3DS. But as long as within a year after Black 2 and White 2 they have Pokemon exclusively on the 3DS, I think that'll be good. And maybe reporters who are not gamers will stop saying, "Oh, Nintendo's screwed, they're gonna die," and they'll start to get with the picture, like, "Oh no, actually Nintendo's fine. Never mind, we were idiots."
All right, Benny, let's talk about a little bit of rumor control here. Somebody
I would,
at TT
but
Games.
apparently the article you dropped in the rundown here isn't coming up.
Really?
Someone's been messing around with the article. I don't want to name names. Green. I actually can't name names. I don't know which one's Green. But Green was messing around. Green is Trevor. Trevor's been messing around with the.
Yes.
With,
I
okay. So you
reordered things.
dropped that one. Gotcha.
Mine worked fine.
I reordered it.
I'm on the next one. Okay. Ooh, fun topic. But yeah, for those of you not fans of the slide pad on the 3DS, well, we have good news for you. You potentially might not have to use them on the Wii U.
Boo!
Potentially. Not yet actually been confirmed by Nintendo, but a recent image from Twitter, such a viable source of information these days, from Telltale. Is it Telltale?
Probably not.
It says TT Games. I don't know what that stands for. Just TT Games?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't think it's Telltale Games. Whatever. From this company, they tweeted like a new updated version of the Wii U dev controller, which has thumbsticks. Real thumbsticks.
And some actual ergonomics in place, and some questionable buttons in over here. If we zoom
it's like it looks like they added a couple buttons. They moved the
I like
the face buttons.
The placement of the thumbsticks were shifted more towards the exterior of the device.
Yeah.
The buttons, I just think this is really interesting. The buttons are the exact opposite direction as they would be on an Xbox controller or a PS3 controller.
Yeah, well, I mean the right thumbstick is in the opposite placement as well. On every other controller, even the GameCube controller, that thumbstick was always down and towards the left, relative to the face buttons, A, B, X, Y. Nintendo with the Wii U controller has moved that thumbstick, equal into the same spot as the left-handed thumbstick.
Well,
so the controller is much more symmetrical now.
Yeah. One of the other things that they changed, they moved the start and select button, or the plus and minus button, to the right side, kind of making it look more like the DSi XL and the placement of the buttons there, which I like personally because now it's going to be very easy to hit those buttons as opposed to the 3DS style buttons where they had them in the middle, which I still find those difficult to hit on the 3DS.
I don't have a problem with them on the 3DS. I think the eventual 3DS redesign, which will happen. I feel like they have to at least, in a way, sort of copy Apple the way they release a new iPhone every year, but without changing the hardware, just kind of redesigning a little bit. I think the eventual 3DS redesign might move those around.
I think we'll see a bit more ergonomics and a built-in Circle Pad Pro. That's what we'll see.
Maybe. I don't know if they'll add
they're going to build
for-
it in. I'm telling you, without a shadow of a doubt, they're going to build it in because they're going to want newer games to take advantage of it. Because they saw the PS Vita come out, they saw the reaction to the dual thumbsticks, people liked it, and they'd be stupid not to.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just telling you.
I mean, the thing is, if a lot of games take advantage of the stylus, then, I mean, forget the circle pad. You're not even using the face buttons or the right trigger or the left trigger, depending on if you're right or left-handed. But if you've got the stylus in one hand, you don't need another thumbstick.
Unless you are left-handed, which there are a few games which I'm very glad they built that way. Namely, the two Zelda games on the 3DS, which I'm one of the very few people out there who plays those games left-handed. Which I am still glad that they built those that way. Because playing that right-handed, I would just kill myself all the time.
I don't know. I'm right-handed. Movement for me has always been left-handed. I think I'm just used to left-hand movement, right hand, everything else. If that gets switched around on me, that messes things up.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to some damage control from Blizzard, and Sean's got the report on that one.
Well, as of many people who actually played the new Diablo 3 game, your account might have been hacked this weekend. And nobody knows why, nobody knows who. And Blizzard's not saying it's a big deal. All they're saying is they're pushing it more towards getting the authenticators. Make money for them, this is a good thing for them somehow.
Well, you can get the iOS application for the authenticator. They even just added a new feature called SMS Protect, which will give you a free text message update if there's any activity seen in your account. Password changes, password resets, and keep you in the loop. So definitely, more than anything, now is the time to make sure you're using those tools instead of just saying, you know what, my password seems secure enough. Nobody's going to hack into it.
Okay.
Isn't the text message thing the same thing as the email? They would do the same thing for emails. So if you check your email inbox...
Yeah, but not everybody has a smartphone. Like, the SMS Protect is great if you don't have an iPhone and you're on, like, an AT&T Go phone paying for text message.
Okay, conspiracy theory time.
Uh-oh.
Blizzard hacked
Keep it to 2 minutes.
Blizzard wasn't hacked. They hacked your account. Okay,
I was going to say that.
Go.
I was going to say that. It almost seems like they wanted this to happen, or that they did this so that they could make more money off of the authenticators. You can go out, buy the little...
They allowed it to happen. Actually, I can almost see that them not allowing it to happen, but them leaving enough vulnerability to say, hey, see, we told you this would happen. You don't listen to us.
They don't. You can get a free authenticator if you have an iPhone. If you have an iPod Touch, if you have a cell phone of any degree, you can protect your account with the same tools. They're not forcing you.
Or you can pay $6 and change for a little tiny little device that generates a random number, and you punch that in every time. I used to have to do it when I logged in WoW 3 times a day. It got a little annoying, but I shouldn't have been playing WoW 3 times a day. And it isn't that much. I mean, I'm not going to go with the whole conspiracy saying Blizzard let this happen just so they can make money. Just any game company is susceptible.
And when you have a high-profile game coming out and the game is controlled by an account, obviously there's going to be an increased incentive to hack those accounts to get free CD keys.
I just think it's funny
it's
that
not
Blizzard
stupid.
is just kind of denying that anything happened.
Well, it's just kind of silly of all the problems that this game has had for the first week that it's been out. The servers were down for a whole other 2 or 3 hours after the game was released for maintenance. And then even still today, it's really, really slow and clunky for everybody that I know.
I haven't had an issue past the third day getting on and playing. Maybe I'm just lucky.
People just kind of stopped getting on and playing because a lot of people were done with the game in 24 hours. This isn't going to be our only report from Diablo 3. We're going to get a lot more stuff in the future. So,
you had something to say, Sean?
No. I was just saying I was one of the people that beat it in 24 hours. That's why I was
Oh yeah, I'm saying you're gonna get this hardcore from me. It's like, okay, I'm gonna stay up all like 40 hours straight. I'm gonna grind through this game, and then I'm gonna sleep for 2 weeks.
I'm
And
not
then
white.
I'll come back.
I'm not lights. I
No, you're
actually
not.
slept that morning,
All right,
but then I beat it the next morning.
Let's put
Yep,
your theory
yep.
to bed here, Benny. Let's look at how the Twitch TV directory right now, and let's look at the current top 3 games. League of Legends with 18,000, close to 19,000 people streaming or watching. Then you have StarCraft 2 with 12,000 on 80 channels. Then the most streamed game right now is Diablo 3, and there's 10,000 people watching on almost 300 channels.
Okay, which says hype to me because 10,000 on 300 channels versus League at 19,000 at 100 channels.
Almost twice the viewership at a third of the channels. So
Yeah.
I'm agreeing
Also,
with Benny
too-
right now. I just
Also,
it's
too-
a little. I think I said this before, and I guess a lot of people still hate me for it. I'd say there's a little bit of overhype. Not a lot, but there's enough of it there.
dude, you cannot call Diablo 3 overhyped.
Now I said a little bit.
You
Not a lot,
you
but there's
said
some
you said
of it there.
overhyped, and it's not.
Tinfoil hat time. Blizzard and Anonymous have been working together to put this game out for years. They're trying to take over the world, man.
All right, let's move on because I'm tired of hearing Benny trash a game that he doesn't like to play.
No, I never said I didn't like to play it. I just
Oh,
think
wait.
this is kind of
Benny was
overhyped.
trashing Diablo 3? Never mind. Continue,
I
please.
actually enjoy playing and watching it. It's a very enjoyable game all around.
It's just a new release, and a lot of people are streaming it. That's what it is.
Actually, I would like to, at this point, agree with Benny that it is likely that the game has been a good bit overhyped. I mean, keep in mind, it is a big release. It's a big deal. I don't blame
Well,
people
the last
for
time there was a
overhyping
game that had a 12-year development cycle, I think we all know what game that was. Our good friend Duke Nukem Forever released. And that game was such a freaking disaster. And now we have a game that was in development for 12 years and came out, and it was freaking awesome. There is a reason to be excited about this game, and it's not just hype.
I'm not saying there's no reason to be excited. I'm just saying it's easy to get overexcited, and games have been overhyped before. Call of Duty games have been overhyped. Halo's been overhyped.
Halo 4 is gonna get overhyped.
Halo
Black Ops 2
4
is gonna get overhyped. Great
It
example.
happens.
All right,
It-
okay, here's my
Every new game gets
I want to make a
It
point
is
here. What games are
okay.
not
It
getting
doesn't mean
overhyped?
the game is bad.
Tell me,
it's
what
okay.
games are not getting overhyped that are actually good games?
Not many.
It's okay.
Tell
It's
me.
cool.
Give me name a game right now, Gil.
Wrong answer. There are a lot of games
Gil.
out there, great games that do get overhyped. There are a lot of games that are okay games that get overhyped. Many games get overhyped just because there's a really large fan base of people. And a lot of people are susceptible to that. Like, wow, everybody's getting this game.
Thank you,
so will
Ozzy in
I.
chat. Portal
You know
2.
what? You know what, guys? This whole conversation is unreal.
Oh,
I almost
For once, Gil's getting us back on topic there.
C3
All right, Gil, enough of the bad
or-
puns.
thing.
get out.
I'm doing my best, okay?
No, that's just horrible, man. We're gonna see
Can we cut that from the podcast
No.
later?
We're not.
Forget
It all
that
stays.
happened.
It all stays in because I want you to sound like an idiot. So, Unreal Engine 4 is going to be shown off in a bit more detail at E3. Cliffy B says, I hope the current consoles can keep up. And to that I say, it's Cliffy B! I had to.
that I think new consoles.
Well, I think that's kind of a sign saying, well, if the current consoles can't keep up, we're going to see some new ones come out. And I think 2013 might be the year of the new Xbox, and 2014 will be the year of the new PlayStation. I don't think Sony's in a financial situation where they can rush a new console out, but I think Microsoft's in a situation where they might need to respond to Nintendo. Excuse me, they might need to respond to Nintendo right away.
Who's saying they won't?
See, here's the thing. I don't know, even if Sony were to I mean, if Sony releases a console in 2014, I don't think they'll be rushing it. Even if they released it end of 2013, I'm not sure. I mean, it might be rushed. We might consider it rushed because we haven't heard anything about it yet. But I feel like, I feel like this console generation has just gone on too long. Now, for gamers' wallets, that's a good thing because, it saves us money not to have to buy all new consoles. On the other hand, in terms of the mental mindset, though, in terms of the games that are coming out, the games are pushing these consoles as far as they can go. Graphics really aren't looking better as new games come out. So
yeah, we're gonna need new hardware before that's gonna happen.
It's past time for new hardware. Nintendo recognizes that. They're releasing the Wii U. Now, it may not be the most powerful of the bunch, but that's not important. It's Nintendo. They'll be awesome anyway.
All right, I don't want to cut you off, Gil, but we need to get through the final topics here on the list because we are running short on time.
I think that's a good thing because the next thing also has to do with Nintendo.
Yeah, so if you want to wrap up and just go into the next topic, feel free.
Oh, sure. Nintendo's going to broadcast its E3 presentation on Facebook. Sorry, Benny, that one was yours.
I know I didn't have the link for it before. It just wasn't working.
But yeah, if you're this is actually pretty good because a lot of we relied heavily on the internet sources in addition to Spike TV, G4. Or actually, G4 isn't going to really have a presence at E3. G who? They've lost Ninja Warrior.
They've lost just about everything.
They've lost everything that was good about that channel.
On their network that was actually good, they've just ended up kicking to the curb.
Well, no, they've left. Like, Sessler left, Pereira left. Even though Pereira's going to be doing their E3 coverage, Cess is gone. And they lost their best non-gaming related show. I think all they show now is Cheaters, Cops, Attack of the Show, and X-Play. I think those are their shows. But
wow.
All the E3 press conferences will be live and commercial free on Spike TV. So if you got nothing to do midday in June, you can flip on Spike TV and watch the press conferences. So I think that's what we'll be doing, right?
But if you prefer to watch it over the internet, this is what you do. You can do this great with Windows 7 with the whole Snap thing. On one half, you got the press conference, and the other half, you should probably keep our stream open with our live commentary. If we're doing commentary, are we doing commentary?
Well, I have to find out because I might be working, so I might not be able to do the live commentary, but I'll have the wrap-up podcasts. So that'll be interesting.
I would love to do live commentary.
I'm debating it right now because I think that'd be a lot of just a day full of just commentary on everything E3. With Game All Stars.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I have cable TV, but I have like basic cable TV. It's like the bare minimum, just like, the first few channels.
You should get spiked.
So
for like 1 month you should splurge.
I just watch the streams though, what they stream on the internet, and that's fine for me. I watch the streams. I look at articles as they come out. That works for me. I mean, you don't even need to watch it on Spike TV. I don't like Spike TV.
There's a handful of shows I like. I mean, Deadliest Warrior and 1,000 Ways to Die is the only two good things to watch on there.
All right, let's jump into the calendar, folks.
Again, the point I was trying to make up, though, is before we head to the calendar, is if you're watching the conferences on stream, you should watch us on stream. In order to do that, you got to follow the channel.
Yeah, so right up in this region up here, you can click the button and follow the channel. It's right over there.
Where
right up there.
It's somewhere.
All right, let's talk about some stuff that's available today. If you're interested in Ghost Recon, go out and buy it. Well, and if you're on the East Coast, most of your game stores are probably closed by now, but tomorrow you can go pick it up. Diablo 3 soundtrack is now available in iTunes and other. I think it's just iTunes, or is it an Amazon MP3 as well? I know for sure it's iTunes.
I would assume it'd be on some kind of download somewhere.
The music labels hate iTunes, so it's probably on Amazon. It was probably on Amazon MP3 like 2 weeks ago, and just no one knew.
Ever talking about this?
Oh, look at you, Mister. I have the Diablo 3 soundtrack.
Oh, I don't play Diablo, so I don't care.
Coming up in June, Dead Island 2 Game of the Year Edition wraps up all that DLC into one nifty little disc for your for your heart to devour. And, of course, in June, the Zelda Dungeon Marathon with yours truly playing. So that starts June 11th. And if you're on the PlayStation 3 and you haven't gotten into Uncharted, June 26th is your day that you can download Uncharted 1 and 2 on the PlayStation Network.
Can I make a quick comment?
Sure.
I thought
No.
Arkham City was game of the year. What happened? Like, where did Dead Island?
I don't know.
Did you say Dead Island
Here's
2?
the thing.
You just
Here's
said
the
Dead
thing.
Island 2.
Everyone, every game that's even a little bit popular gets a game of the year. All right, and here's why: because there are so many gaming publications out there all around the world that somewhere one of them is going to give one of these games game of the year. It's not going to be the one that everyone agrees with. In particular, I never agree with Spike TV's rankings, and I don't think they're a good source for that. But more importantly, even if none of that happens, they can always give it to themselves. Like, it's like, well, we think this game, we pick this as our game of the year. And so we're going to really, like, a developer could choose its own, like, this is our favorite game that re-released this year. And so, like, yeah, so that's our game of the year, and here's the game of the year edition.
All right.
So, game of the year is such a meaningless title. Every game gets a game of the year edition.
Why don't we just make Skyward Sword game of the year so we can see a game of the year edition? Like, I think that would be awesome.
All right. Let's wrap up.
It's like 800 little quips on about how awesome it was on there in the cover and make it look ugly.
Play us
All right,
off,
Benny.
Johnny.
Where can people find you online?
You can email me at bennyg@gengame.net, or you can follow me on Twitter at NatePhoenix16 and at GHTPHONEINX16.
Gil, where can people find you online?
They can find me on Twitter at Mr. Puck. If you don't know, if you can't figure that out, well, it should be
It's
in my
the
lower third.
If you're not watching the video.
I've spelled this several times before.
It's
I'm done
Mr.
spelling it.
Puck.
I spell it because people mix up the O and the E.
All right. And
Yeah.
Sean, where can people find you?
I hide on the internet, but you can add me on League if you want. Flashback with 2 H's.
All righty. And, of course, I'm Trevor Mignani, your host of the GenGAMEcast. You can find me online at twitter.com/themags. You can email me, trevor@gengame.net. If you want to get in touch with the podcast, you can send an email to podcast@gengame.net or leave a comment on the post when it comes up. We're in iTunes. Subscribe to us on Blip. But that's it. We'll see you next time for the GenGAMEcast.